Hello, everybody. My name is
Hey,
Chris Arledge. Welcome to a special video edition of Musings from Arledge. It's my favorite week of the year. It's USC Notre Dame week, the best rivalry in college football. We're going to have some fun today talking about this rivalry, and I've got two of my favorite people in the world here, despite the fact that one of them wears a really ugly shirt. I'm going to introduce you to these two guys, and we're going to get going. First, I'll introduce a visitor. Notre Dame's at home in the game, but Luther Bradley is away for purposes of this show. Luther Bradley, former Notre Dame NFL and USFL cornerback, first all time on Notre Dame interception lists, which you think about the guys that have come through that school, that's pretty impressive. All American first round draft choice, still holds a professional football record for most interceptions in a single game with six, right?
that's right. Yeah, you've done your homework. I like that.
Well, look, I've known you for 28 years now, and that shows how young I was when we met. And I guess the last thing I should say about Luther is he once upon a time lost to a white kid in the 100 meters in high school, which
Uh,
which he doesn't
you
like to
would
talk
bring you
about.
would bring that up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, bro. I know how much that hurts. I'm getting started aggressively. I also have with me Rod McNeill, former USC and NFL tailback. I've known Rod even longer than Luther. I've known Rod since I was probably about 3 or 4. And as you can tell by looking at me, that was a long time ago. Rod was the top running back recruit in the country at Baldwin Park High School, set the CIF record for rushing yards in a game. Key member of the 1972 national championship team, which is probably the greatest college football team of all time. Finishes
Wouldn't
USC
say
career with
that. I wouldn't say it, but go ahead.
yeah, well, you wouldn't say it, but you say a lot of wrong stuff. Finished his USC career with almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage and over 5 yards a carry. And I think it's fair to say Rod is far too modest to say it. But one of the great what ifs in USC football history, if Rod didn't suffer a brutal hip injury early in his career, whether or not Rod would have one of those trophies in Heritage Hall right now. Rod's not going to agree to that, but a lot of people that saw him play think there's a decent chance that would have happened. Okay, I was not a Heisman Trophy winner or a first round draft choice, but fellas, there's always a chance. There's another NFL draft in April. We'll see what happens. I'll have the phone close.
Can't
Okay,
wait to see that one.
look, don't. I understand that the odds aren't good that a 52-year-old guy that played small college ball 30 years ago is going to be a first round pick, but I'm just saying, weird things happen. Jerry Jones still runs the Cowboys. Who knows what he might do? Okay, guys, I want to talk about the USC Notre Dame rivalry. Um, the numbers we know about. This is a rivalry with the most combined national championships, most combined Heisman trophies, most combined All Americans, most combined NFL first round draft choices, most combined NFL Hall of Famers. The list goes long, and a lot of people have seen the numbers. But I want to start with this. Luther Bradley, tell me what USC Notre Dame means to you.
Well, I got to tell you what Eric Park, when I was a freshman and we are getting prepared for this game, Eric Parsean gets in front of the team and says, we're getting ready to play USC. They got the beautiful weather out there where it's sunny all the time. They got the beautiful cheerleaders. All of them are gorgeous. And he said they got all the celebrities going to be in the stands watching them and cheering for them. But he said, we got a better football team. Now, he said they got good football players, but, we got good football players too, so we'll just see who wins. So the thing is that we always look at that dichotomy, the difference between where we're at in location and all of that stuff. And so we always believe that this is the biggest rivalry we ever had, and we continue to believe that.
You bring up an interesting point because one of the things that makes USC Notre Dame great is that the schools are so far apart and really so different. I mean, they're in culturally they're different. They're in very different locations, and Auburn, Alabama, they're just down the street. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, even Texas,
Right.
Oklahoma aren't that far away. But yeah, this one's different in that way.
Absolutely. And it's going to be, I don't know what the temperature is going to be on Saturday, but it's going to probably be in the mid 60s or something, or high 50s. It's going to be cold. But you know what? That's fall football, and that's what Midwest football is all about. And again, that's what excites us about playing SC because they got to come to our weather and our school, and so it's going to be fun.
Right. What does USC Notre Dame mean to you?
First of all, let me just say that I mean, Luther's not going to scare us with 50 degrees that cold. I've been to Notre Dame where it's a lot colder than that, and trust me, buddy, the whole thing is all football when you get back there. Because I go way back to my days as a young lad and living in North Carolina, which is where you're from, Luther, right?
Oh, that's right. I was from South Carolina, but yeah, that's close.
Okay, yeah, I was living with my parents and family and my 8 brothers and sisters in North Carolina. And in those days, there was one team that was guaranteed to be on college football TV every Saturday, and it was Notre Dame. And I would sit and watch the games with my dad, and I see Notre Dame with this shiny helmet, the way they wore their uniforms, like, wow. I didn't know any of the football team except for them and maybe some pro teams I was, like some players are. But that meant a lot to me. And then when I moved to California, and I started having some success in high school, I got recruited by Notre Dame. I flew out. They flew me out to South Bend. Got a chance to meet with Eric Parsegian. And Eric said, hey, you'd be the first big player, big running back that we've ever had. And he really made me think for a minute. Here's a chance to be with a school I've admired my whole life. And then they took me over to see where all the girls had hung out because they had no girls at the school.
That's right.
They all
still don't, from what I've seen on that campus.
They all went to St. Mary's, right? I went down there with some of the players and I saw about 4 or 5 girls, and I said, "Well, I don't think this is going to work." It was a great move because I met my wife at USC, and we've been married now 47 years, and it's incredible because that rivalry is everything. When you talk about college football, the whole thing with Newt Rockne, Coach McKay, Parsees, it's just wonderful names and the players. Uh, I used to love some of the running backs they had there. I was actually spent some time with Tom Gatewood, who was one of the guys who recruited me for Notre Dame. A great person. And then, of course, I was hanging out with OJ and Mike Garrett when I was being recruited by USC. And it's nothing better than when you have quality people, quality leadership matched up over something that in those days, college football, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to the city, the school, the families. It was just more than a football game in those days.
Right, I totally agree, Rod. It was more than just college football. It's just almost a way of life,
Yeah. And to me, it was like a ceremony almost, and it spoke to, I think from our perspective, Luther, when you think about it, it spoke to opportunity. If we could play well and that game, opportunities were open to us that were not open to the majority of African Americans in this country. And so I always saw that as wow, there's a way for me to get to that upper level, chance to get a great education and just do some things that heretofore would not even be possible. So it meant even that, Chris, we can add that to the list. There's just a lot of things going on there simultaneously.
Yeah, as a fan growing up, watching USC Notre Dame, it's funny, depending on how old you are, you have very different perspectives on the rivalry because this isn't a rivalry where the teams, win every other year. It's a rivalry where the teams go on runs. And so if you grow up like I did, where you first start watching USC football right about the time that Notre Dame started winning every year for more than a decade, that becomes an issue for you, right? You see Notre Dame and you think, man, I don't know if we're ever going to beat these guys again. But I've talked to younger Notre Dame fans who grew up in Pete Carroll's era, and they sort of have the same perspective. Like, I
But
didn't know if we'd ever beat those guys again.
Right. Right.
It's nice though to have a game like we have this year, where actually both teams I think are pretty good and have a shot to win this. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Here's what I want, Luther. I want you to give me. I think I know what it's going to be. I want you to give me your best USC Notre Dame moment.
Oh man, you know what that's going to be. It was my freshman year, the very first game of the year, 1973, the very first play of the game. Lynn Swan, I was playing strong safety. Lynn Swan runs a kind of a bubble screen, and I read the play, went up, tackled him, in some kind of way, his helmet popped off, and I kind of threw it on the ground, and the fans went nuts, man. I'm telling you. Now I don't know what happened, how did it happen, but that was the best moment. And then after that, it was all downhill for the Trojans, man.
So I know why you said in some way his helmet came off, and it's because I've given you a hard time on that play before. And I'll tell you why. Because I was watching some USC Notre Dame thing, and a former Notre Dame player is talking about that 73 game and talking about how freshman Luther Bradley comes up and destroys Lynn Swan and the helmet goes flying. And so I thought, wow, I can't wait to see what Luther did. I go and I find that clip. I've never been more disappointed in a highlight than I was in that play. I just think he didn't have a chin strap and he kind of fell down sideways and his head was sweaty, so it rolled off. But
I tell you what, I don't know what happened or how it happened, but this helmet came off really easily. And I tell you, it made me a star for the day. I tell you that.
well, it wasn't the first time that you were a star. And actually, it's interesting you picked that one because you also played in the green jersey 77 game with the horse being rolled out. So
Yes, and actually, you see the jersey behind me. Yeah, I'm positioning just so you guys can see that. But yeah, I played in that game as well. But
all right,
I
Rob,
like to come.
let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about your favorite USC Indy memory.
Well, so that was one of the favorites. Then the second one is same game, and I'm looking at Lynn Swan. You know, Lynn Swan was all everything, all American, all everything. And we're petrified of him because this guy was a superstar. Anyway, he goes down sometime in the third or the fourth quarter. He runs down and runs like a 15 or 20-yard curl in the zone. Jumps up. He must have jumped up 10 feet. Snags the ball out of the air, and when he comes down after snagging the ball out of the air, he sees our linebacker getting ready to come and tackle him. He opens his legs, linebacker runs through his legs, and he lands on his feet, turns around, run another 15, 20 yards down the field. And I'm telling you, I was on the field. I mean, I was like shocked. I'd never seen anything like that before. He's like Superman. I was like, who does that? So that was the second moment. I mean, that's when I realized this guy was more than just a terrific athlete. He was a superstar.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Rod knows a little bit about Lynn Swan. It's his buddy. Rod, give me your favorite USC Notre Dame memory.
I got to go back. In those years, we're changing college football, especially the Alabama USC game. Before we went down to Alabama, they had no black players. And so it was unique for me, and that was my sophomore season, that I was paired with some guys that were going to really start changing history. And then when we go to Notre Dame, we went back there at a period where we were having a really tough time. Our teams had come in 6-4-1 and 2 years in a row. And so when we went back there, Notre Dame was undefeated, I believe. And we wound up beating them behind the play of one of our other receivers, a guy named Vessel Garrison, who just passed away at 75. I don't know if you may not have heard of him, but he was
oh yeah, he was a sprinter. Wasn't he a high hurler or something?
no, he was a world-class quarter miler and sprinter, yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember him.
Yeah. He had like 3 touchdown catches against you guys, and we just went crazy against Notre Dame. You guys were headed to the national championship, and we blew those dreams up. But that team went on from that game, and we wound up having like 25 games in a row, some 23, 25 games in a row. And we won the national championship the following year. But, and let me just tell you a story. Some of the guys had gone to Coach McKay and said, hey, Coach, we'd like to have a Bible study before and after the games. And, Coach McKay is not generally a demonstrative person as far as his religious beliefs, but he allowed that to happen. And it actually changed the whole atmosphere and the whole focus of the team. And we really had a very strong companionship, camaraderie on that team that lasted the rest of that year, and then went all the way through the 1972 year when we won the national championship. So that's what Notre Dame meant to us as far as, hey, we got to change some things. So it was always a pleasure to play against Notre Dame. They were really, it's like playing a pro team in college. It was always exciting. We had a chance to get in the game. But we also had another guy who he was very destructive, and just kind of watching him in action, it kind of put things in perspective too. Like, wow, you're part of a special thing, and you just to have a chance to be on the field with some of these players, it's a great thing. And Luther is one of those guys. I remember watching Luther, and I've gone back and watched some of the film to see who he was, and he really gave Lynn a very, very tough life at that point. I think Lynn probably was reconsidering his playing position because of what Luther was tweeting about there. But I'm just glad. I really am glad to have met Luther and have a chance to talk to him and you, Chris, for that matter. But we've developed a very good, strong relationship over the years, and a lot of that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for the Notre Dame USC rivalry. So I know it's a lot.
Well said, Rod. Well said.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's all true too. That's the wonderful thing about it.
Yeah.
I was at the Coliseum some years ago, and this is and this is at a time when USC wasn't very good, because we've had some stretches in the last 20, 30 years and we weren't very good. And I was talking to a Notre Dame fan at the concession stand, and he asked me, so what do you think? And I said, well, we can't beat anybody else. I doubt if we're going to beat you guys. And he said maybe, but I walk into the Coliseum and I'm scared every time because they've broken my heart here so many times. And it reminded me just how many times both of these teams have just ripped the heart out of the other one. My first in 1988, it was that was the first number one, number two game against between these teams at the end of the season. That was the first year that I was in high school. That was the first year I had ever seen USC where I thought they could compete and win a national title. And to this day, that's the worst I've ever felt after a football game, is watching Notre Dame beat up on an undefeated USC team that I thought was going to win the national title. And it took a long time to get revenge for that. And that revenge came exactly 20 years ago, Luther, where we were at the Notre Dame USC game together in 2005. The famous Bush Push game, still the greatest sporting event that I've ever been to. And here's what I remember after the game. We weren't sitting in the same seats, but we were going back to the same place. So I find you outside the stadium. And for 30 minutes, you refused to say a word. Anytime I looked at you, you just shook your head and looked the other way. And I thought, you know what? I finally feel good about 1988. Finally, we ripped their hearts out.
You know what? That was one of the most depressing games I've ever been to, man. I'm telling you, because we had the game won. And then the score is, I don't know, we're up, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 points or something, and they're getting ready to score, and they're on the goal line, and they do this Bush push, man, and I was so angry. And I do remember that. I remember not being able to talk to you, man, and you just had the little smirk on your face.
Yeah, same smirk I have now. I can't help it when I think about that game.
You had this smirk on your face. It just made me so mad, man. But I couldn't say anything because we just gotten beat. So,
You know, the
But
wonderful
wait a
thing,
minute, let me finish. But recently, though, I remember going down and we were at a game together,
Yeah.
and we're sitting next to each other, and it doesn't look good, and we're up by 10 or 15 or 20. I can't remember. And you guys lose it, and you get up. And I say, Chris, where are you going? He said, I can't take it anymore. And he
Okay.
walks out. All
Let me defend myself with some facts. Okay.
right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sitting with you and your teammates in the Notre Dame section.
All right.
USC is down 35-0. It was 28-0 at halftime, and you guys score first in the third quarter. So it's 35-0. I'm being taunted by all of you guys, especially you. And I thought about, I had never left a game early at that point. That was like a religious thing for me. I simply will not leave early, no matter what's going on. But I looked at it, I thought, I have to sit here for another hour and a half and listen to these guys rip me for this debacle that I'm seeing on the field, and that means I'm going to get stuck in that traffic back to Chicago. And I said, you know what? For one time only, I'm just going to get up and walk out of the stadium. And I did in the third quarter. I just got up and
That's
got in the
right.
car and got out of Dodge.
I was
And I
shocked.
don't
I said,
regret it.
Chris,
No,
where you? Nothing. Just he walked out, waved, and was gone.
I don't regret it. I hope I don't have to do that again this Saturday. But all right, guys, let's talk about the future of the rivalry, because there was a time when I assumed that these two teams were going to play forever. Now that seems to be a little bit up in the air. Luther, let me ask you from a Notre Dame perspective whether you think the rivalry is going to continue and what your thoughts are on it.
I think the rivalry is going to continue. The only difference is that we have a new athletic director now, and they set these games 10 years out in advance in the future. But the new athletic director might not feel the same way about the rivalry or trying to keep it. But I know the last athletic director told me, he said there's a couple games that we're going to keep on the schedule for sure, and that will be Southern Cal, and we're going to try to do Michigan again. So if we get those, I think they're going to probably continue the rivalry, but I think it's good for college football if we do that.
Yeah. Rod, any thoughts on this?
well, absolutely, Chris. I mean, I think if we can keep our democracy, then there's a high probability we'll continue to have that rivalry. But the other issue is much more concerning to me, and I think our country's in very serious trouble because of some of the things that are going on right now. So it almost puts sports and football in particular in jeopardy, especially when you look at the whole NIL issue and how, look at MSU State, for example. We lost a whole lineup to in transfer portal. From last year to this year, we lost a whole starting lineup. Probably a few gaps in there, but a lot of those guys are doing well in other schools now. So the whole thing about college football, like we were talking about earlier, how the schools, we were playing for the school and its family and the reputation, all those things that all went together with college football. Today is just about playing for the money.
Yeah.
So as we get further away from that part, the real essence of what it means to be a college football player, some of those people who come behind us may not remember the importance of that rivalry. So that's what I think puts it in more serious jeopardy.
Yeah, it's for a long time, not so much when you guys played because the TV deals weren't hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars, but over the last 10 years, you have coaches making $10 million a year. You have schools bringing in $150 million a year in revenues. You have everybody making money except the players. And it seemed to me that it made sense that the players would share in the revenues they help generate. But Rod, I'm with you that with what amounts to almost unlimited free agency, where so much of it is now transactional because it's about dollars and cents, the game has lost something, and I do worry about its future.
Yeah, Rod, the point that I want to make that you really made is that there's no more, this is my university. I came here to go for 4 years. And It's not that anymore. They just go where the highest bidder is. Yeah. And where they, and they don't have to sit out. It used to be you have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
They don't have to sit out when they transfer. So you're right, Rod. It's I think it's changed the dynamics of where college football goes. And they got to kind of fix that before it really gets back to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah, I'm with you. And look, we have all these other changes. I mean, Texas and Texas A&M didn't play for about 15 years. Oklahoma and Nebraska no longer play. I mean, USC doesn't play Stanford or Cal anymore. You have all these changes that have been driven by money, and I'm a little bit concerned that a game I thought would always be played may not be, in part because USC doesn't want to. USC doesn't want to play a game that's going to cost it a shot at a playoff if other people are playing much easier schedules. And I don't like that perspective, but I understand it. This year Notre Dame is being played between Michigan and an away game at Nebraska. There aren't very many programs in college football that would add an elite non-conference opponent between two games like that.
You're right.
That being said, it would be a tragedy for both institutions and for college football if this game isn't played in the future. One of the great things about college football is tradition, and the more of these traditions we lose, the more college football becomes just a AAA NFL sport, and who cares about that?
Right. Well, I was just listening to ESPN. I think started Sunday night. They start promoting the Notre Dame Southern Cal game. They don't do that with all games. They just do that with certain games, The Michigan-Ohio State game is a big promo game as well. It used to be Southern Cal UCLA. Used to be a big promo game. But, yeah.
Then I was going to say 2 weeks ago, I was saying that then UCLA stopped playing football. But now all of a sudden they're back. They're beating Penn State. They're blowing people out. I don't know.
Yep, I noticed that. I'm glad to see that though.
Yeah, I don't know if I am, but well, all right, guys, let's talk about this year's game. And Luther, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to give you first word. Notre Dame has two really good running backs. They have a freshman quarterback that looks really good. And you expect Notre Dame is going to be solid in the trenches. I wonder a little bit about that this year, but that's what you expect. So it looks like a typical Notre Dame team to me, right? Big, strong guys, fast running backs. They'll throw the ball on you if you bring the safeties up. I guess we have no chance this year, right?
Well, you guys got a chance, but it's an outside chance. You guys can't stop the run. I watched you guys against, I think it was, I want to say, was it Michigan? You guys did okay, but you couldn't stop the run. But so if you can't stop the run against Notre Dame, you're gonna be in big trouble. And of course, we can throw the ball. This CJ Carr guy, man, is a terrific quarterback. He's a freshman, redshirt freshman, and he's got great skills, and he's not making the mistakes he made in the first couple of games. So I think that we're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage. We're going to run the football, throw the football. Our problem is going to be in the secondary. Our defense is not as good as I would like for it to be. But you guys didn't show me a whole lot that you guys got some deep threats down the field or you can throw the ball. So I think we're going to be in good shape. And you want me to give you what I think the score is going to be?
No. I'm going to have you do that at the end. But I think you just got reinforcements. Vegas Ferguson, did you join us?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Oh, Vagas!
I can hear you.
I apologize. I lost the link and I had to go through the link you sent Luther. So I apologize for being late.
You're good. Let me introduce you first. Some people already know you, but USC fans may not. Vegas Ferguson, former Notre Dame and NFL running back, third on Notre Dame's all-time rushing list. And when you think about the backs that have come from that place, that is pretty impressive. All-American in 1979 when he had 17 rushing touchdowns and finished fifth in the Heisman Trophy voting. Member of Notre Dame's national title team in 1977, first-round draft choice. And that's a pretty good resume. We're thrilled to have you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you for allowing us to be, Luther and I, to join you today.
and Luther needed help because so far he said a lot of stuff that makes very little sense, and I wanted somebody on that side to help him out. So it's good that you're here.
Well, I appreciate that. I hope I can support him. But anyway,
I want you to tell us why USC has a chance to win this game, because I want my Trojan fans to have hope out there.
You want me? That was addressed to me, Chris?
What's that?
That was addressed to me?
Yeah, that's addressed to you.
Okay. Well, I like the fact that Luther has the ability to look at things from the rose-colored glasses because I was watching that Michigan game, and Michigan was supposed to beat us up because they're playing bully football. But if you were to talk to the running backs from Michigan after they played SC, they would tell you that they got bullied big time because we hurt both of them. I'm really sorry about the hurting part, but number 22 is a very good running back, and he didn't finish the game. And the other guy who came in after him, and he was also very good, but he didn't look good either at the end. So I think what we've done, what we really did, we've been playing fairly good football all year. But what we did on Saturday was to establish ourselves as bully football players. In other words, we're going to be in the fight, especially on the D line, especially the offensive line. I mean, we broke off a couple of running backs that hadn't even really seen any time, who are now, they're major players right now. So they're going to be contributing big time. And the other key issue is Jaden Laiva. This kid is playing fantastically right now from a quarterback perspective. And he threw a couple of pick sixes last year, which cost us a game because we were driving to win that game.
Hey.
Winning that game, you know it. But he's an incredible quarterback right now. I would say he's the top quarterback prospect for the NFL right now in the country. And you're going to see some stuff you haven't seen all year from him. And line that up with our head coach, who is, I think, really starting to come into his own as far as how to play more aspects of the game, not just being, either pass-oriented or run-oriented. Right? If you look at the stats from that game last week, we had a perfect combination of run, pass, defense, and special teams. So he's putting it together, and it's really voting very, very badly for all the other teams in the Big Ten that we're playing on a regular basis now. And I really think Notre Dame ought to figure out where they want to be. Because if they do that, then that'll help them figure out how hard they want to play against us.
Oh, man.
Vegas, I want
Vegas, get him right, Vegas.
I don't know it. These guys know more than I do because I always start by watching Notre Dame when the second quarter. I don't like watching the first quarter. They got to get warmed up. But anyway,
it's gonna be over.
That's what's been the thing for me this year. It's been tough for me to watch the first quarter, and because they have slow starts, but they pick it up in the end. So that's the main thing, that they pick it up when they need to.
And Vegas, before you came on, I asked both these guys to give me their thoughts on USC Notre Dame, what the rivalry means to them, and maybe a moment or two that's meaningful from the rivalry. So I wanted to give you a chance to weigh in if you want to.
Oh, well, the rivalry's always been there. I mean, in my freshman year, I got exposed to that real quick. We played out there, and being a freshman, I've never been to California, and so just that atmosphere, being in the Coliseum and those and the Trojans, I had watched from TV as a younger person. It's just stigma there that that it's going to be a exciting. It was just exciting for me to be in those games. You know what I'm saying? To be able to play in those games. So it's a natural, because it's cross country. It's a traditional game that everybody looks forward to playing in or watching. And I just think that it's going to be a good game this year as well. So
I think it's going to be a good game too, and we're going to make some predictions here, fellas. All right, Luther.
Wait. Hey, can I make one comment first?
I don't know. Is it going to be a good comment or bad comment?
I gotta throw out a shout out to USC. So I just want you guys to know that I had a son that went to USC Med School. And so he's a doctor out in UCLA now, UCLA
Uh-oh.
Medical Center. And so I do appreciate the school a little bit. So I got to at least throw that out there.
Very little, Luther. Let's say it's very little.
Very little.
A very smart kid. I know a little bit about his
doubt.
academic background. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Luther, it's time. I want you to tell me what's going to happen Saturday and give me a score.
Okay. I think it's not going to be a beatdown like it was last year. It wasn't a beatdown. It's not going to be a beatdown. But if we're going to win probably by 10, and it'll be close for the first half, and then the second half, you guys are going to be worn out, and you're going to start getting cold, and you ain't going to be at home in the nice warm weather, and then then you guys are going to start leaving the stadium.
Oh Lord.
Okay. So 10-point win. Give me the score.
Okay. Score is going to be 30 to 20.
30 to 20. All right. Rod, bring some common sense to this discussion. What's going to happen Saturday? Give me a score.
Oh, that's fun. I'm really waiting for this opportunity. I've been thinking about it since last year. Actually, I just want to say, first of all, Vegas, it's really a pleasure meeting you and Marge playing. You're playing in Notre Dame there, so very good to meet you. But I'm sorry about what's going to be happening on Saturday because for one, we're very, very close to being back where we were dominating college football. And I remember those days, Vegas, but there was a time when the name USC struck fear across the country. And
please.
Never another.
Right.
Fear.
All right.
So I think we're very close to that. And we have a great combination right now of a creative defensive coach, Valentine Land, a very creative head coach. We have a outstanding support staff. This whole university came. We got somebody from, he came from Michigan. Where did he come from? Actually, did he come from you guys? Yeah, he was your, we call him the general manager, basically. This guy's been fantastic. He's helped the recruiting program. When we're number one in recruiting class in the country. And that's all speaking to the future. But what it really says is the focus is right now for USC. And we don't do things the way you guys do. You guys play a couple of high school teams early on in the season.
Let me look at this schedule.
I'm getting ready to throw up.
That's going to hurt you guys, right? Because you're going to be in a battle. You're going to be in a battle. Trust me. Guys, tell your boys to come hand strapped up. Because it's going to be a fight.
Just give us the score, Rod.
What's the score? What's the score, Rod?
I got 45-28.
Wow, a beatdown.
45.
A beatdown. I love it.
We're not unleashed. I cannot whoop on y'all.
All right, Vegas, I assume you're going to agree with Rod, 45-28 USC?
You know that's wrong. You know that's wrong.
What I'm talking about.
It ain't even close. I know we're going to score over 30 points. I can tell you that now. And I don't see USC getting over 21, if that, So no, we don't have any fear in South Bend. We don't have any fear of USC. We never have. And we're not going to start now. So we're not going to back down.
Talk to him, Vegas.
You know that's right. We know we don't back down. You talking about the Irish. We don't mess around. Y'all see touchdown Jesus, y'all gonna be oh Lord. Oh Lord, don't throw on touchdown Jesus there. So that's all I got to say. I mean, I think they are playing at Notre Dame, aren't they?
Yeah, they are playing in South Bend.
I know, I'm just messing with them. They know, they ought to know. Coming to the Midwest at this time of the year, we don't play. I'm saying we don't get we warmed up now. Y'all gonna be a warm up for us.
All right, so what's the score? So Vegas, what's the score?
I said, like I said, it's gonna be. We're gonna score over 30 points.
Okay.
36, 30, 38, whatever. But I know they're not going to score over 20.
All right.
Maybe 21.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
You better play the game.
That's why we play the game. That's right. And,
I'm gonna straighten you guys out. Here's the thing. The problem USC has had in the last few years is that they just weren't good enough up front, not defensively, not offensively. Because USC always has some skill position guys who can play, and they do again this year. Mekhi Lemon's probably the best wide receiver in the country. Jacoby Lane is a huge problem in the red zone. And USC has some backs, despite the fact that their two top guys are out. Their number 3 guy, freshman, came in and ran for $158 and about a half against Michigan last week. The problem was USC just wasn't good enough in the trenches to compete with Notre Dame. I think they are this year. I think the defensive line played against Michigan the way you'd want them to play. They're not going to stop Notre Dame from scoring. Notre Dame's backs are too good. That quarterback is too good. I actually agree with Vegas. I think Notre Dame is going to get to 30 points. But I think USC is going to get to 30 points too. Notre Dame has given up points this year to good offenses. They haven't played many of them, and they haven't played an offense this good. This is going to be a game in the low 30s. It's going to come down to what happens in the fourth quarter. And I just have a feeling that truth, justice, and the American way will prevail this time, and that good triumphs over evil, and that the Trojans win by a field goal as time runs out, 34-31.
Okay,
Wow.
good one.
Wow.
I don't think Touchdown Jesus agree with that, but we go for it.
You know what? I've been to South Bend plenty where Touchdown Jesus didn't have a very good outcome for the Irish. So
The key word there was the past.
yeah,
Remember you said
that. We're going to find out soon. Okay, Luther, any last words for the people?
Well, I look forward to this every year to get on here and talk about the Trojan Notre Dame rivalry, and it's been a pleasure and an honor. And I look forward again next year. But go Irish!
Rod, final thoughts?
My final thought is, as you see, we're talking about each other, we're putting each other down, but there's camaraderie between USC and football and Notre Dame football players and athletes in general. I love these guys. I don't really know Vegas, but I love him as a player. Luther, I love him. I met him and talked to him. Know him intimately, not intimately.
Look out, Sly.
I know him very well. I know his wife very well, too. So, that's what's wonderful about the sport. We're guys who can put the game in the right perspective.
Yes,
we want to win, but ultimately we want to be friends and neighbors and good American people.
That's right.
So, I'm looking forward to the game. I won't be there, unfortunately, but I'll probably let this be one of the last times I go.
Thanks, Rod.
How about that? Rod McNeill with the olive branch. Vegas, what do you have to say? Last words?
Olive branch. It's all about the competition. It's all about the friendships in the end, and that's what's the most important thing about us talking today. We're talking about something positive. And nothing, and with all the negativity we have in the world today, we need this as a positive thing, and it is. Two great teams competing, and then at the end, whoever wins, which will be the Irish, it would be, who can say much more than that. Rod, it's nice meeting you too, partner, on the Zoom here. I don't know who that guy who's commentating this thing and putting it together, but I know I appreciate you. I appreciate you inviting us, and again, I just hope everybody comes out healthy, well, and wiser for the wiser, and let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Luther, Rod, we go back many, many years. Always love talking to you guys. Vegas, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us and joining in the spirit of this thing, which is a little bit of trash talk, but also friendly banter. And look, if there probably aren't very many tickets available. If you're not planning to go, it's probably too late. But listen, USC fans, if you haven't seen USC Notre Dame in South Bend, you have to go. It's one of the great experiences in sports. I've been many times. I try never to miss it. And Notre Dame is there are teams that we hate and root against, and Notre Dame's one of them. But there's a difference between Notre Dame and some of the other teams we don't like. We respect Notre Dame. Great academic institution, a fantastic football program, and I hate to admit it, but in almost every case, the guys that I've met from there are good guys. It's going to be a big night. Can't wait to be there. I hope it's not too cold, not because I'm worried about USC's players, because I'm worried about me. I don't like cold, but we'll see. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully we'll do this again next year. Hopefully Luther and Vegas get over it when USC wins a big one Saturday. And for my Trojan fans, until next time, fight on, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Well, that was wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for having us. Having me. I don't know about Luther, but it's been a pleasure. It really has. Just sorry I got on here late. I just, I figured it out though.
You
So
got
I'm glad you
there.
made
You got there. That's the main thing. You got there.
Bless you. Bless you.
All right, guys. We'll see
All right,
you.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bless you.
Bye.